I'm honestly so ready to be done with these wings. I can't tell you if I'm gonna cosplay another winged person ever again. We are exactly 10 days away.
On top of that, my cosplay isn't done and I'm entering it in the contest. So I honestly need to prioritize that.
It's recording. Welcome back, everybody. My Morrigan Aensland cosplay video is finally finished.
It's about damn time.
I'm so excited to give you guys kind of a detailed deep dive into this cosplay and how I made it possible. Originally, I was actually going to insert this cosplay into the 2024 MomoCon cosplay costume contest, even though I feel like this cosplay went really well. I don't even think it would have placed. And on top of that, it was falling apart, but we'll get into all of that. For right now, huge video disclaimer, this is not a how-to. This is a process video. Feel free to, use some of the techniques that did work in this video. By all means, feel free. I also want to mention that I worked on this cosplay for about a month. It was a very grueling process, probably because I only gave myself a month before MomoCon, which I did not intend to do, and I'm about to do again. Jeez. I think it might also be a hot minute until I do another winged cosplay, because I made these wings from scratch, and the Dremel tool that I use also did not make it better. I'm gonna link that Dremel tool down in the description just to hate and just to be petty, because the Dremel tool was not good. The regular Dremel bits that comes with it, they just do not work. They were just horrible. So I feel like I honestly spent probably a little bit more time than I would have on this project if my Dremel tool was better, but rant over. So who did I cosplay as?
Heir to the throne of the entire demon world, she shirks her responsibilities so that she may gallivant throughout the human realm, seeking pleasure and excitement. But do not misjudge her. Beneath her beautiful flesh lies the soul of a demon as powerful as any ever known, and she is willing to bear all.
Morrigan Aensland is a powerful and charismatic succubus who was born into the noble Aensland family, rulers of the demon realm, Makai. She is the adopted daughter of Belial Aensland, one of the most powerful demons in Makai. Morrigan is rebellious by nature, often seeking out of her castle to seek excitement and battles in the human world. However, she doesn't realize the full extent of her power, which is so immense that it was split into 3 parts at her birth. Morrigan's story revolves around her journey to understand her true potential and the responsibilities that come with it, all while navigating the complex and dangerous world of both demons and humans. Despite her playful and carefree demeanor, Morrigan is a force to be reckoned with, making her the most iconic character in fighting game history. Fuck is you talking? I never knew this about her, but apparently she is the most popular cosplay character for women in Japan, which also attracted me to her, but it was just a fun fact and I thought it was really cool going into this cosplay. I was attracted to her personally as a cosplay character mainly because of her strong physique. Characters like Chun-Li, honestly, the Capcom girls. The Capcom girls are just a huge line of super muscular, super strong, but really attractive women. And Morrigan was one of them that I did not really know much about before this cosplay. On top of that, obviously her costume, absolutely amazing. I went into a deep dive and I also looked and pulled some of her original concept art and concept sketches, and I feel like one day redo this cosplay again, but I think I might do the concept sketch version because it's so awesome. But her costume is absolutely amazing. Wings not really on the back of her shoulders but by her waist, and then wings on her head, and then she has this not really blue red but aqua kind of green and pink color story. But speaking of cosplay, let's get into how I actually went on achieving her look. The exact costume that I'm cosplaying as is the artwork that she appears in for Tatsunoko vs. Capcom Cross Generation of Heroes. Specifically the Japanese artwork. I don't know, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I don't know who did the art for the Ultimate All-Stars, which I believe is...
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
We're doing her art for Cross Generation of Heroes. Going into her cosplay, I did a lot of research on which rendition I wanted to do, because she comes in so many, and her wings and her color palette, and even the pattern on her tights and her shoes vary very slightly for each rendition. And I really liked this one because I felt like her wings were a little bit more circular and pointy and perky, if that makes sense. Like, she looked a little bit more like playful, rather than like the usual kind of like dark purple, you know, you're probably known for seeing her in. Let's get to the nitty gritty and break down the actual costume making process. It's voiceover time. So what you guys are seeing now is I actually drew my own pattern for the headband wings, or the head wings, because it's not really on headband, based off of this Pinterest picture. So all I did was drew those, cut them out, and traced that 2 times on a sheet of 2mm EVA foam. This specific sheet I got from Joann's, but I also had a whole roll, but I just wanted one that was flat at the time. So before I said I was cutting these out of 2mm, I actually am. I was supposed to be cutting them out of 1mm. I just realized I filmed me making a mistake.
Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
After the 2 base layers are glued together and ready to go, I glued both of the layers together using Gorilla Glue brand contact cement, which I think worked really well. Seeing me do here is take my hair dryer and wrinkle out the back of my bat wings. I'm just using that blow dryer to set the EVA foam in that little shape, and kind of using my fingers in like a fork formation and forming those in the back. After I shaped the wings, I put another layer of the contact cement to put the final layer of 2mm EVA foam onto the head wings. If you're keeping track at home, that means first layer, which is the back layer, is the 1mm, then the second layer is the 2mm, and then the final top layer is another 2mm. I didn't film what I did next, but I did take pictures. So after you see me applying this last 2mm layer to the very top of my wings, I cut a slit. You don't slit a slit, you cut a slit. I cut a slit in the fingers, I guess you could say, of the wings to put some wire in there. I wanted to put wires in these wings for both the head wings and the waist wings to 1, add stability, and 2, to make them slightly posable. After I added the wire in there, I put hot glue on the very top, and then after that hot glue dried, I went ahead and put foam clay on the very top and the surrounding area of the wing to give it more 3-dimensionality. And then I smoothed everything down with that crappy ass Dremel tool that I told y'all about earlier. During this time, I also created crevices with the Dremel tool for magnets, because going into this cosplay, I wanted these wings to be detachable from the wig so that I could potentially use the wig for another cosplay. I didn't, you know, just thinking ahead. After several coats of the spray paint and the Plastidip, it just got too heavy. So when it got to the point where it was time for me to actually connect the wig and the wing together, the wing like just slide off and then eventually like fall off. That was scrapped. I ended up having to just glue the wings directly to the wig. And then also during this time, I worked on the horns. I made those out of Model Magic clay, which got really solid, and it was really easy to shave with the Dremel tool. However, I don't know if it was the choice of clay or the fact that maybe I didn't put enough layers of acrylic varnish on top, but both of them broke off during MomoCon when I was walking around. I was able to keep one in place with hot glue. The other one just did not want to stay in place, and I actually still have that torn detached from that wing right now. I would honestly probably just suggest using foam clay. For the body wings, everything that you saw, all the footage that you saw for the head wings, I did the same exact thing for the body wings. Only thing that was different was instead of using 1 layer of the 2mm EVA foam, I used 2 layers for each wing, totaling in 4 layers. And I made a bigger slit to put some dowel rods in because I did want to have these wings go into my corset. The wig was also pretty straightforward. All I did was I bought 2 of the same exact wig from Amazon, 2 because I knew that the first one was probably going to be a little bit thin, and now that I have locks, my wigs need to be a little bit thicker in that base area where they tend to be a little bit thin in cosplay wigs. And all I did was I straightened the wig with a flat iron and a fine tooth comb to create a slight crimped illusion. Then I cut and layered it and secured everything with Got To Be spray. So it was basically just a pattern of getting hair, using a flat iron and the fine tooth comb, straightening it out, and layering it and spraying it, and then just doing that whole thing over and over. Now on to the most complicated part of this cosplay for me, which was the corset. This was the biggest challenge because up until this point I have never made a corset before. I watched the absolutely amazing Sarah Spaceman's video, appropriately named Watch This Before You Make a Corset video. It taught me a lot about what I was going to expect going in, but it also made me aware that I was going to need a double-boned lined bodysuit corset, which she made very clear was not beginner friendly.
But wait, there's more. Hang on to your seat, baby, cause this one's a screamer.
So I'm gonna do something that's gonna make a lot of people mad. I'm going to kind of bullshit this pattern. I got this pattern from Cat Cow on Etsy and YouTube. They are a drag queen, and they also have a video with this exact pattern. So I'll put this pattern in the link, or in the, y'all know what I mean. It'll be down there, it'll be down there. And I'm going to see if I can transform it into a bodysuit. As you can see, I already cut my first copy and sewed it together and just kind of looked at it on myself, and I've went in and made some adjustments to the original pattern. So I'm gonna give myself about like 15 BS inches in the front for the crotch flap, and in the back. I'd rather it be too long than too short. So I'm gonna give myself 15 inches front and back, and hopefully that'll be enough to cover this, voluptuous booty. Once I was happy with the muslin, I knew that I was kind of ready to go in with the actual fabric and go ahead and start my corset. So the very first thing that you're seeing me do here is the cups. I bought some, what is it called again? Interfacing. I bought some interfacing for the cup parts, cutting the interfacing out and ironing that to my pleather cup pieces. Looking back on it, I could have honestly either done a more thicker or structured interfacing or just put a cup in there, because the boobs were kind of flopping out a little bit, but it wasn't horrible. So after I cut out all my interfacing and ironed that to my pleather pieces, I then went ahead and started attaching my waist tape. I would rather you guys watch Sarah Spaceman and her corset video to get an in-depth tutorial on what a waist tape is. Here is what I gathered from her video and how I did it for my corset. Yeah, so basically I'm gonna flip up just the right side of my seams, just the right side only. And I'm going to take the beginning part of my waist tape, make sure the edge is on the other edge, take a little pin, and I'm literally just going to pin it to that flap, and we're gonna go ahead to the machine and baste it. And yes, I'm gonna be basting it literally right after I secure it, just to ensure that the tension is really tight. All right, so this is what it's looking like so far with the waist tape on. And just trying it on with the waist tape on, I could definitely feel that it's gonna cinch that middle part really nicely. So I think now, what are we gonna do?
Ojo-sama, it's time to go to bed. 또 핸드폰 하는 거예요?
늦게 자면
고운 피부가 다 무너진다고요.
사이고노 케이코쿠 데스.
지금 잠이 들지 않으면 우린 춤을 출 거예요.
야래 야래.
뭐 말리는 아가씨.
야래 야래.
After the corset, I need something easier to do. So I was like, okay, gloves. I already had a plan in my head that I was gonna take a pair of thick, pasty, off-color, nude granny tights, and I was gonna cut those up and possibly dye them with some Rit dye. During the time I was making these gloves, the Joann's was closed. So I was like, okay, I don't want to wait until tomorrow to get these gloves done. I want to do these now. What's an alternative way that I can dye these gloves? I was like, can I dye them with watered down acrylic paint? And apparently you can. So what I did was just take a yellow pinkish mixture of acrylic paint and a little bit of water, and I mixed that in a Solo cup. Took that mixture and I put it in a bigger container that the gloves were in, which already had water in it. And then I just stirred it around. The first try didn't really attach as much as I wanted to, so I put a little bit more paint in the second attempt mixture, and that one came out nicer. This is a great method. So far I've washed these gloves twice and the color has not faded or transferred into my washer or my dryer. However, dyeing fabric this way will have like some sort of patchiness if you're not like constantly like just stirring it. After that, I worked on the tights. I already had the perfect pink color bought from Amazon. In my head, I was like, okay, I could just easily find a Morrigan tights bat pattern on Google, and I was planning on just putting that on 8.5 by 11 paper, cutting it out, taping it to my leg with the tights on, and just tracing it and going back in and painting it in. And that sounded like it was gonna work. And then I'm sorry, I'm not gonna keep on doing this. There has to be a way that I can just So once all of the clothing was done, I decided to just dedicate a day to painting all of the wings and everything that needed to be spray painted. So all of the wings were treated with 3 layers of Plasti Dip. I then sprayed them with black, pink, and a satin top coat. The very last thing that I made was the attachment to go underneath my corset to kind of connect the wings to the back of my corset. I got this idea from Abarilki on YouTube. What she did was basically take 2 sheets of Warbler and just created like a crevice for her PVC pipes to go through. For me, obviously I used wooden dowel rods. Mine came out a little bit jankier, obviously, because I do not have as much hardware. All right, y'all, and there you have it. That's pretty much all of my process for this cosplay. Like I said before, it was a lot of work, but I'm honestly really proud of it. I feel like the more cosplays I do, the better quality they come out, the more stuff I learn. If you have any more questions or felt like I missed something or something did not make sense, please sound off in the comments. Hit me up on Instagram, on Twitter. You know what to do. I will see you guys later.